Good evening, guys and ghouls. Sorry about that. It's Halloween. I had to do that stuff. Sorry, guys. Welcome to a very special episode of the official Cinefied Podcast, the show where we pick apart a new release every week. Last week, you may have noticed we didn't put out an episode. That's because we all got taken by the grabber. Fortunately, this guy from Ohio named Chris set us free, but then he forced us to watch his horror movie. I'm kidding, obviously. About the last part only, though, okay? In all seriousness, though, this week we are back from a brief hiatus to chat about the highly anticipated directorial debut of YouTube film critic turned filmmaker, Chris Stuckmann. Nearly 5 years after being announced, his horror film Shelby is finally in theaters. Distributed by Neon with a stamp of approval from horror mastermind Mike Flanagan, the film is the continuation of an online series of fictional found footage videos about a paranormal investigative team named the Paranormal Paranoids. It stars Camille Sullivan, Sarah Dern, no relation to Bruce or Laura, Brendan Saxton III, and Keith David. And to give you a better understanding, the film's plot synopsis is as follows. A woman's desperate search for her long-lost sister falls into obsession upon realizing that the imaginary demon from their childhood may have been real. It's a lot. Yes, we will talk about it. But before we do, we're going to take an excerpt from our critic John's review, which, you just got to read the thing to understand it. But this is what he says. Stuckmann has done it. Shelby Oaks is here, and the critic has now put his money where his mouth is. While that is respectable, the fact remains that his debut falls sadly short of expectation. That's what he said. We're going to talk about it, like I said, but before we do, there's something you guys have to know, and this is just a technicality, and it's also featured in John's review, but for what it's worth, both John and myself actually put money into this movie. Not like we have skin in the game or anything like that, but, we helped Chris. This movie was a part of a massive Kickstarter campaign that started, like I said, almost 5 years ago. John donated. I donated independently, of Cinefied. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So we are not being paid to showcase our opinions here. If anything, our opinions may actually differ from what you might think people paid to talk about movies actually say sometimes. But like I said, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to stop talking. I want to go to our roundtable of spoiler-free reviews. And of course, I want to speak to the man of the hour, John, who, like I said, reviewed this film. John, it sounded like you didn't like the movie, but I mean, what did you think?
Well, hi Dempsey. So here's the thing, man. Like, I am a big champion of Chris Stuckmann. Like you said, I have that disclaimer at the very top of my review because I wanted people to know that while I did contribute financially to Shelby Oaks to get made because I believe in Chris, that did not leak any bias into this objective review of the film he put out. Because I think that's the best way to do it. That's honest for Chris, that's honest for the audience. And without going too into the weeds just yet, I'll say just briefly, Shelby Oaks is a misfire. It's not completely devoid of great things. There is a lot of good things, I would argue, that are in this film. There's a lot that needs to get improved upon if Chris is going to continue to make films. I think he has a great eye. I think his story and his screenwriting chops need a lot of improvement. And, it's okay. Let him make mistakes. It's okay. This is for a first outing for an indie horror film. Like, I've seen way worse than this. Was I overly impressed? No. Because I've seen Shelby Oaks many times before in other films throughout my lifetime. But he was going on, I believe Chris Stuckmann was going off of what he knew. And I get it. And I do respect it. Will I jump out, a race out to go see this movie again anytime soon? Probably not. Would I see it again down the road? Probably. Would I recommend it to people? Not for a horror standpoint. Like, oh man, this is so scary. Although it did creep me out in a few places. But if I would recommend it to anyone, it would be more for the sociological interest of the YouTuber, critic turned filmmaker aspect of it. And that's my 2 cents for right now.
Okay, Connor, let's hear what you had to say.
Just to be clear, are we not doing popcorn ratings at this time?
Oh yeah. I mean, John, I thought it was pretty
yeah.
self-explanatory. What?
It's a half for me. It's a half.
Oh, okay. I thought it was much lower. Okay, no, it wasn't self-explanatory.
It's a half.
That's good.
I will dive deeper later if Dempsey gives me that latitude, but for now, it's just a half, which is like the middle of the road rating for Cinefied.
I'm gonna let you loose, John. I promise. But Connor, go for it. What did you think? What's your rating?
I'm also going to give it a half. I think that this is a very mixed bag of a film. I've spoken to I think all three of you about this off the podcast, but I'm not sure. My mind's rattled right now. But the first part of the film, I think is, in my eyes, like, I don't think there's an issue with the screenwriting in the first part. I think the documentary aspect of it, I think the exposition dump, I think all of that is handled so well. And especially, I think really it's when it's at a point after the documentary and we see a point that's featured heavily in the little bit of trailer I've seen. And then we have kind of like a police kind of thing with a really beautiful shot, which kind of, I think, shows how great he can be, like, with at least his cinematographer could be with like planning out a shot. But I think that after that first, like, once they get rid of the documentary aspect and then they go into the tape that is in the trailer and the mystery behind the tape, and then we get more into demonic beings, I think it loses a little bit of steam. I was fully interested the whole time, to be fair. But I mean, I've seen people heavily criticize the ending. I don't think I hated the ending by any means, but I do think it's kind of like, well, what the hell was that? Like, why'd you do that? But I'm very much looking forward to kind of getting your guys' opinion of what exactly parts of the ending meant, or if it meant nothing. But I think right now it's a maybe. I think if you're a fan of Stuckmann, go watch it. I mean, you gotta cherish these moments where indie filmmakers get a break like this and actually have a studio behind them to put it out in theaters. And I think it's a good starting point for sure.
And Cassie, which I think you're the most recent of us to have seen this movie, literally just hours ago.
Did you just call me Kathy?
Oh, Cassie. Come on, Kathy.
So first of all, I did not know that Chris was one of us. So I have nothing but goodwill towards him, and I feel kind of bad for not liking it. And goodwill towards anyone who makes movies, because making movies is hard, and making scary movies is really hard, because I think they're the easiest ones to mess up. So this is a spilled for me. I knew nothing about it, like I said, going in. I think when it first started, I thought, oh, it's a found footage movie, cool. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, it's a mockumentary. Okay, cool. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, wait, no, it's not. It's all of these, yet neither of these. There's a lot going on, yet somehow not enough going on. I mean, I don't want to be mean. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The middle really dragged for me too. I've been tired lately, and I think I might have almost fallen asleep at one point. And what else? I think it felt like, I know I read that there were a lot of rewrites. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like maybe he overcorrected, because it felt like every horror trope, like he ticked every box on purpose. Oh, she's watching a scary video in the dark. Why doesn't she turn on a light? I don't know. Just little things like that. Very, very nitpicky things that are just me probably being a bitch. But even the way characters reacted to their situation, she's, oh, do you feel that? It's cold. well, she didn't look like she was cold, because what do you do when you're cold? You go like this, and she didn't do anything, right? Again, nitpicky, but it's little things like that just take me out of the movie, and just the realism isn't there for me. I laughed at the ending a little bit. I just thought it was a little silly. So this was, that said, I was glad to see it in the theater and give it my money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't regret that at all. So I want to make that clear. But as far as the movie itself, no, I didn't like it very much.
I thought, after speaking to Connor especially, I thought Connor was going to have a little bit more of a favorable rating for it. I think, I guess we're all in the same boat. I kind of feel mixed to negative. And it sucks to say that out loud, because I've been trying to grapple with this. I saw this a day ago, and like I said, I didn't have skin in the game, but I shelled out money to help get this made, and I just feel like, not that I was robbed, I don't want my money back, but I'm like what happened here? Something went wrong. And Cassie, you were not wrong. The film did undergo reshoots, which I guess implies that there may have been some rewrites just a few months ago to add some gore and violence, which I don't think really matters here. And if that's the case, if Neon was so much more focused on that, then that means they were so much more focused on making, I guess, like something appealing to the masses. And I mean, well, I understand, that's the kind of stuff that people turn out for. If that kind of shifted what the original story was about, we may never know. It's unfortunate. I say all that to say, like I said, I give it a half, because as all of us pointed out, making a movie is very hard. And it's an admirable thing. If you know anything about the movie making business, other than, listening to podcasts about it or reading reviews, it's that every movie is a gosh darn miracle to make, considering the funding, the focus, that goes into it, and the passion that you need for like at least 6 months during the production process before you go through the painstaking process of writing it. And I admire Chris for his determination in finally bringing this forward. And yeah, like I said, that is my review of it for now. We're all going to expand upon it, I promise. Before we do, I just have one question, and this goes back to the funding and the production. This movie is actually the most crowdfunded horror film on Kickstarter ever. So it raised the most money out of any, not just indie, but horror films that were ever put up on Kickstarter, regardless of what you guys thought about this. And I guess, Cassie, you don't have to answer because you said you didn't know too much. Connor, I think you may have known a little bit about this, but I'm curious most to hear about what John thinks. Do you think it lived up to the hype, at least? I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about this movie this weekend. If anything, I've seen more people talk about the new Chainsaw Man movie than anything. So what do you guys think? Live up to the hype? Yes, no?
Well, I'll go first just because I'm simple. I don't have a ton of background into the film. I think really it's when it played its first festival and then it got bought by Neon. I think that's when I heard about it. I was not even a part of knowing about the crowdfunding aspect of this film whatsoever. I used to be a giant fan of Chris Stuckmann. That's one of him. I mean, honest to God, probably like a written format, Roger Ebert and maybe Chris Bumbry at Joblo, and then video format like Chris Stuckmann and like Jeremy Johns. Like those were like my go-to people, and so they motivated me to do reviews of any sort. So, but as far as the making of this film and all that, I don't have anything to really say about that. I mean, I think that it's a mixed bag, like I said, as far as what the product is right now. So go ahead, John.
Yeah, so the question, right, Dempsey, was, did it live up to the hype, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's where the separation is so crucial and so important, because I did not contribute money to Kickstarter for any kind of expectation of a film. I did it because I believe in Chris. I did it because I've been following Chris Stuckmann for over a decade, and where like Connor, I'm going to echo Connor for a second. I really liked Roger Ebert's print reviews. He's been the template of what great criticism should look like. And then it follows when YouTube kind of blossomed to this big space for video criticism, and you had the Jeremy Johns and the Chris Stuckmans and the Screen Junkies guys and all those people. You know, I lashed on to Chris about a decade ago, and it was due to a video that he put out called "The Shape of Horror Now" or something like that, and I was hooked ever since. I could really relate to him, and so anyway, so I contribute to this Kickstarter because when he speaks about filmmaking, he's so passionate, he's so earnest. Like I get it, and I'm bought in to this. Like, yeah, man, even if it was a movie about flying monkeys coming out of my butt, whatever the fuck it was, I was on board because I believe in Chris. It would be, not disingenuous, but it would be like kind of weird to like have some image of what I expected it to be in my head of the product I want Chris to make for me. Like I expect him to make a film. Like the thing with Shelby Oaks, and while I wrote my review, like a bland movie is a bland movie, and Shelby Oaks is pretty bland by comparison to other films I've seen, and that's okay. It's fine. Chris got to make his movie, and I'm proud of Chris for making his movie. I'm still going to hold him accountable to the film that I got on the back end. Like it works in parts, and some parts it falls very flat, but I'm okay with that. So, the whole Kickstarter thing, that's a cool phenomenon, and I'm very proud to have contributed to that, to this moment in pop culture. That's very cool for me. Like I like that, and I'm happy for Chris, and I hope he keeps to get to make movies. I think he has, like I said earlier, he does have the eye for it. I don't need him to make. I didn't walk into Shelby Oaks expecting Scorsese or Tarantino or Spielberg. I knew what I was getting. I knew I was getting a first time film from a YouTuber turned filmmaker, and that's what I got, and that's okay with me. So did it live up to the hype? Like I don't know what hype there was other than like Chris got to make his movie. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro! Like because making a movie is a fucking pain in the ass, and he raised way more than he wanted, and he had a finite time to shoot it. He pre-production and principal of photography was 3 years ago. Because as you know, Dempsey, we were backers. We had the Discord pass access to all that behind the scenes stuff. And I remember walking through the production with him and his team, and like good for Chris. Like it is what it is. I don't know that it really answers the question. Probably not. I kind of rambled. I'm not sorry, but that's why we're here anyway.
No, you say something very fair. So I misasked the question because I agree. I wasn't expecting anything. I also paid because I believed in Chris, because he was so passionate about this project. And it was something that he had spoken about, in videos and reviews and non-reviews for so long, that it was like a pleasure to really help him, do his thing, achieve his dream. But I think the reason I say live up to the hype is because it has been so long. You're right. I remember seeing so many of those production videos during COVID, during the pandemic. I remember when he did the video saying that he had raised more money, so much money that they were able to afford to be able to hire an A-list actor, and that turned out to be Keith David, which is pretty cool. But I guess I put a lot of this on just not the producers, but I think just the system, because I think it took a lot longer for this movie to come out, and because of that, there was some sort of expectation that maybe it should be better. And when Neon jumped on board and Mike Flanagan and all that, you once you start to pile on these people that are putting their name out for the product, you definitely do get some sort of expectation. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends who were going to go see this movie are like, oh my God, Mike Flanagan's behind it. Oh man, I'm ready to get messed up. They probably did get messed up, just not in the way that they were expecting. But I guess that's kind of where the question came from. But I totally respect that answer. I totally get where you're coming from. Without further ado, though,
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
No, further ado, hold on.
No, go for it.
I one of the things you said, I was about to jump in anyway, and I say the opposite of you were saying your friends are like Mike Flanagan projects and whatnot. I think when you look at a film like him that was so heavily advertised as Jordan Peele, I mean, they're putting Chris Stuckmann's name first, like in all the advertisements. Like here it says executive producer. It's making sure to be like there. You like it's not director. It's not like from Mike Flanagan. It says executive producer. Like it's. I don't know. I feel like I haven't had as many people been like, oh, it's a Mike Flanagan project. Like he's producing it, but it's just like the Jordan Peele part of like him. Like you always heard people.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just, I mean, yeah, I think that's an aspect to it, but I don't think that people are really seeing it that way. I have seen discourse, which is a dumb discourse or conversation about YouTuber become filmmaker, and you look at the guys behind Talk to Me, and that was their first film, and you look at the quality of that film, and then you look at this film kind of thing, and people are like, but it's very drastically different horror films and styles and everything, so I don't really think it's fair to do that, but I have seen people make that conversation as well.
Yeah, and I would say that's an unfair comparison.
Yes.
Two different films, two different filmmakers. And the whole Mike Flanagan edition, because Mike Flanagan started getting in contact with Chris after Chris Stuckmann reviewed Oculus. Like, we're going back over a decade at this point. And Mike Flanagan's involvement with Shelby Oaks was more like a coach or a mentor to Chris. Like, hey, make an edit here. I would tighten this up there. You know, like what I would want a Mike Flanagan type to do to me if I was making my first feature, someone I respected coming in and like, hey, you know, maybe we could do little tweaks here there, bud. You know, what do you think? And then Neon, of course, you know, because they still had a limited budget and they could only do so much with a limited budget. And then Neon's like, hey, we'll give you a few extra bucks to go, you know, add some splatter effects or whatever the hell whatever the difference was. And you know what? I'm fine with that because at the end of the day, Chris was able to achieve the film he wanted to make. And I don't have to like the final product, but I'm very happy that Chris got to, you know, make the film he wanted to make, because not every filmmaker gets to do that. Like I'm assuming, so you know, I'm assuming Chris. Yeah, it seems like he got what he wanted out of this film. So I think in that for that instance, I think Dempsey that. Yeah, like I think that it was juice was worth the squeeze. Like, good for you, Chris. You know, you took a big swing, bud. You know, did hit with everybody, and that's okay. But you made your dream come true, man. What's not to like?
Totally. I agree with all your points. And yeah, most specifically, I'm pretty sure he definitely got final cut on this movie, to some degree, considering, you know, everybody that was involved in the way it got made. But it is about time to actually talk about this thing, to really break it down. I want to start Cassie, because I know she hasn't really. I'm just very curious what her thoughts particular about it. Well, I want to start with the pros here. What do you think were the best parts of this movie, Cassie? I know you said you gave it, you know, a spilled, but any redeeming qualities in your opinion?
I thought it got better toward the end, and I really liked the actress who was like the old woman in the end. I thought she was really good and really good at being creepy. I don't know who she was. I don't know anything about her, but I thought she did a really good job. I felt like there were a lot of nods to a lot of classic horror movies. So I guess, you know, that could be seen as a good thing, maybe. To me, it you know, kind of felt like it was just trying to like get a hand in every single pie, but you know, yeah, I mean, I thought it was creative. I mean, you know, I'm trying to be nice.
No, she sounds like me. She's stuck, man. She is.
I'm stuck, man.
Yeah. All right.
She was not Stuckmanized. That's for sure.
Connor, what were your pros for this movie? I want to hear what did you like about it?
My pros are they're all over the place. Like I really, there's two moments in this film. One, when you go into a horror film, you want to have some genuine scares, whether it be something that is so obvious or something that's like smartly like set up and atmospheric, no matter what, you want to come out and actually like have like, oh shit, that moment like got me, or that moment like is stuck with me. I think there's two moments in this film that one is cheap, but I did jump a lot. And I mean, anytime a film can make me jump or kind of make me go, antsy, it's good to me when it's a horror film. So the moment going across the corner, and it's like, of course the guy's going to be there, but then it just escalates so quickly and I'm sure that's a reshoot with the face being torn off. But the jail scene, up to when the dog appears, I think that to me was very atmospheric and very tense, and the like the cold air coming out, and you see the presence behind her, and you see what I believe like all the black sulfur everywhere, like from the demonic presence. And I think up to when she comes out and there's the dog, I think when the dog shows up, everything dog, not my thing. So, I didn't like any of the dogs in the film. I'm sure some of them were probably real, but I did not care for their presence in the film, although I'm sure they're supposed to imply like hellhounds kind of deal. I think that it's a lot of the time it's really well filmed. I think that the first, I think the reveal that Riley's still alive, I think that was a good twist. There's a couple of good little twists here and there, but I think that it does for, how long is this movie? 90 minutes?
It was like an hour longer. 40. Yeah.
Hour 40. I do think it takes its time a little bit. But yeah, I just think that, pros, the atmosphere I think was good. Cons, I think that there's definitely some pacing issues, some script issues, some dialogue issues for sure here and there.
All right, we'll hold off on those. We're gonna get to the cons in a second. I want to hear. We gotta.
I thought you were asking for both. No. My bad.
We gotta prop it up first, Connor. Not you. We're not knocking it down just yet.
I already did.
No, it's fine. It's fine. John. All right, now's the time, man. What you spoke a little bit about your admiration for the film, but before we talk about some of its problems, what did you appreciate about it?
I appreciate quite a bit with Shelby Oaks. About equal what I did not appreciate, but the positives. I'll stick with the positives. This is a gorgeous film. It looks and I wrote this much in my review. Andrew Scott Bard, the cinematographer, man, he was money well spent. He made this indie film look amazing, like $1 million, if you will. And I was immersed. I liked it. A lot of it kind of looked like Mike Flanagan's projects. If even from the trailer, I was like, this feels like a Mike Flanagan type project, because Mike Flanagan's films, if people aren't familiar, all kind of look the same, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that you can tell that's the auteur part of Mike Flanagan, and some of that transferred over to Shelby Oaks, and it looks great. And I did like the found footage portion in the beginning, and I like the opening credits that are like 30 minutes in. I did like them. They were kind of like TV movie credits a little bit, but I didn't mind it. It was a good opportunity to have Stuckmann put his name on screen, written and directed by Chris Stuckmann. If it was me, I would have wanted to see that too. So it's all good. Camille Sullivan, man. Also, to be fair, I'm a huge Shoresy fan. The TV show Shoresy, which is the what do you call that word? Oh my God.
Hulu streaming original?
No. The oh my God. It's like Letterkenny. A spinoff. There we go. Words are hard. Hey, I'm drinking a few little beers, a few small beers right now. So, so I loved her Shoresy already, but even with not dipping into the negative with the stunted dialogue and the kind of cheesy word choices that were used, I thought she still carried this film. She did not phone in anything. She showed up to work every single day on this film, and I bought in a lot of this film, even the weaker moments, because Camille Sullivan was there with that. She wore that pack the whole way through. And Keith David, I mean, everyone likes Keith David. You know what I'm saying? Like, there'll be no Keith David slander. Like, get the fuck out of my face. You know what I'm saying? He was underused. That's like the only critique there. But like, it looks great. It was very atmospheric. And matter of fact, this is a true story. The next I watched it at like a late screening on Thursday. I woke up at Friday morning, 3:00 in the morning. I was creeped out. This movie touched a nerve a little bit, like, which is kind of silly because it's not that kind of a movie, but I don't know. It had a little magic spell on me. So I'll give it that. Like, way to go, Shelby Oaks. I woke up at 3:00, like, fuck, man. What the fuck? Sorry, I've been drinking, but I'm not going to apologize, really. So, so that's my positives.
Okay, those are fair. Those are fair. I think we're all talking about the found footage aspect of the movie. And I will happily join in and say that I like that part as well. I tragically had no idea what the hell paranormal paranoids were or anything that had to do with the lore of this movie. So to prepare, I watched not one, but two separate hour-long videos talking about the lore of the film, just to be prepared, all for it to just be explained in the first 20 minutes. And that part...
You did more than me, man.
Triggered me.
Good on you, bud.
I was like, wait, so I didn't have to waste my time. But anyway, I digress. That being said, I really love the found footage aspect of it. As much as it was a little bit, expositionary, it was necessary, because if you weren't like me and you weren't a fucking loser and wasted 2 hours of your life, it helped you to understand the rest of the lore of the movie. What the switchover, though, I thought the switchover was so cool. I am a sucker for whenever a movie title appears in the middle of a movie to make you think that you thought you were watching the movie. Psych. Nope. The movie's starting right now. It happens like halfway through that movie climax. There's a bunch of Martin Scorsese's latest movies also do that. It is a great tool in my opinion. And then when the way in which the Shelby Oaks title appeared on screen, I was like, okay, all right, we're seated. We're watching that was
creative.
Something pretty cool. It was Steve McQueen does that in all of his movies. Like 12 Years a Slave, Shame. He always, like, the way he puts the title on screen is something always memorable, and I really like that. Like, it got me very excited. However, after the switch up, that's kind of for me when the film started to go downhill. And it's we will talk about that in a second. But every now and then there was always something that got me excited. The jump scares, very effective jump scares. The eeriness. I agree with you, John, with saying that this film did touch a nerve. It's not scary, but it's very unnerving. Almost in the way, like, I'll say this about Longlegs. Like, Longlegs, I was so looking forward to. I was also kind of disappointed by it, but God, I cannot stop thinking about that movie sometimes and how really creepy it is. And I will probably say the same about this. There are a lot of very interesting pieces of imagery and ideas. And that thing, the way it just pops up, there are several times in the movie where I'm pretty sure it's like in the background, the Tarvion or whatever the hell the name of the demon is.
Tarion,
yeah. I'm like, there were like several times where I'm like, all right, like, I'm positive that's a demon on her shoulder. And Camille Sullivan's performance was also great. And Sarah Dern, right? That's her name? Yes. The actress that played Laura. Fantastic. Am I saying
Riley?
Right? Riley. I don't know why I said Riley.
I was like, who's Laura?
Yeah. See? I watched the movie, I promise, guys.
Are you sure?
No, I this is the thing that also messed me up. I was like, are they really going to get the same actress? And they did. It is the same actress from the whole found footage video thing. I wish we would have seen a little bit more of her in the present tense. Where, as Connor pointed out, it's revealed in the movie that she is still alive after she's been missing for so long. I thought she really gave a really good performance despite being on screen for such a short amount of time. But yeah, let's go into the cons now. Who wants to go first?
I want to go first.
Okay, Cassie, have at it.
Let her rip, girl. Let her rip.
Okay, so first of all, I was not at all surprised that she was alive the whole time. I mean, I saw that coming. My number one is so ridiculous, and I guarantee it's not something that any of you thought of. Who the fuck was trimming her bangs while she was in captivity for 12 years?
I mean, obviously the demon.
Drove me nuts.
That's a really good catch.
Yes. Okay. Well, as a bangs girly, like I know all the maintenance involved, so I was like, who's doing that for her? I thought the husband character was so poorly written. Like she was hot and cool. Like I don't know why she married him. There was a scene where, the scene where she tells him like, I have to tell you something, when she was telling him what she saw at the window, and he was like, you need help. Like all she said was when she was a little girl, she thought she saw something scary out the window. That's all she said. Like she was literally a child. Why would you think that like she needs help because of that? I really did not like him at all. I didn't understand like what was happening with their relationship, and I wish that they would have fleshed that out a little more. I mean, they made it
completely agree with that, because I was kind of confused about like when he showed back up, I was like, oh, I thought they separated, because when she was like, we stopped trying when like my sister went missing, and it was just like, and I was like, kind of felt like they were alluding that like their relationship as a whole fell apart.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they were saying they stopped trying to have a baby, but it's still like, it seemed like the final straw for her was when he said, you need help, because she said she saw something scary out her window when she was a little kid. Yeah, that really bothered me. I think the dogs, no dogs.
What's with all the dog hate, man?
I mean, why? What was the purpose?
I like the hellhound part of it.
Yeah, the hellhounds.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
They were creepy. I don't know. But fair enough.
I could have done without showing the devil, the demonic figure. That was the part that made me laugh in the end. I thought it was really silly. I mean, there was so much
to be original.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do that. Fair critique, Cassie. Fair critique.
But we got Derek Mears, and I mean, I'm cool. Who was like, we get to see what Derek Mears looks like when he's an actor, and I'm like, nope, he's the demon.
I don't know who that is. Yeah,
it's the guy that played the last version of Jason in the last
he's like a really big guy.
Okay,
he's a good Predator too. Yeah, he's done a lot.
Okay,
yeah.
But still, my main criticism is the bangs, because that's ridiculous. He clearly did not have a woman with bangs on that set. Who? To like set him straight. Yeah. So I think that's it was a lot. There was so much going on. I said this before, so much going on, yet not the right stuff going on, I think.
That's
there
valid.
you go.
And you have seen it the most recently,
it was like 4 hours ago. Yeah.
And the bangs are still on the mind. That's awesome.
I'm still thinking about it.
All right. I want to build up to John's cons. So, Connor, tell me Connor's cons. Talk to me.
Well, I already kind of went over them. Sorry about that. But once again, I will, since that's in the past, I'm going to agree with Cassie, since it's in the current, that the dogs, no. So, I mean, I get the hellhound aspect. I mean, if anyone knows anything about hellhounds, it'd be me and John as Supernatural fans. That we saw several people get torn apart in that third season, but I think that aspect is it's just not fleshed out enough, and I think that leads into why there's probably such a hate towards how it ends. Like, I don't like want to necessarily dive into how it ends with the dogs unless we want to, but that irked me so much. Yeah,
Are we doing spoilers?
Yes,
Post.
we talked about Riley being alive, so I feel like maybe
go for it, Connor.
We can totally talk about the ending.
Gloves are off, bud. Gloves are off.
Yeah, the dog's tearing her apart from her, like, because he's very casually cracking the window to lead to the moment that she gets shoved out, and then the dogs instantly attack. That whole sequence, I was just like, Michaela went and saw it. My girlfriend went and saw it with me, and she was like, as soon as the film ended, she was like, it's like, yeah, I would also be trying to kill that demon baby because that demon baby's bad. so she was on the side of the sister. So the last 15 minutes are a huge con for me. I don't think it ruins the film, because I think there's a lot of leading up to that point that I liked quite a bit, especially the first 30 minutes. I think the performances are really good. I think both performances are fantastic. I really like. I think I forget who said it, but the older woman that I think that actress was fantastic at when she turns, when she goes from kind of like a mysterious just basically she's just a part of it, but maybe she doesn't actually know that she's a part of it. Maybe it's her son this whole time, because she sees the photo and it's like, oh, maybe she's just like the mom of a killer. I think the performances are great. I do think that pacing issue, especially going into the second and third act, and I just think that it's a little the formats. The formats are an issue for me because you got found footage, you got a little bit of found footage, you got a little bit of documentary style, mockumentary, as Cassie said. No, not mockumentary in this sense because it's supposed to be very serious, but and then just straightforward filmmaking as well. I think that I'm positive that Chris knew what he wanted from this film, but it just comes off like he didn't know what format he wanted to use. So, but those are my cons as of right now, but I could come up with more or less. Who knows?
We'll be watching. All right, John, I want to hear what you have to say, man. I've been waiting for this for 45 minutes.
All right. So my cons, first off, the writing. The whole movie should have been written by somebody else. Should have gotten a polish. Should have gotten Mike Flanagan. Should have really been honest. Be like, hey man, some of this stuff kind of stinks. Cut this out. So, but it is what it is. So in the interim though, that whole the husband character, cut his ass out of the film, or at least he separates. He's like, I can't do this anymore, and he's gone. And then insert the cop, the one cop who was kind of like volleying back and forth with Mia for a while, and like to Cassie's point about the whole pacing, kind of and I did write this in my review too. It kind of slows down horribly. You had back-to-back flashlight investigation Nancy Drew sequences, and I'm like, can we we just did this? What are we doing it again for? Because I was trying to rationalize, why is she going to this prison? Girlfriend, you're by yourself. What the fuck are you doing? Grab your lame ass husband, grab the detective guy, get some backup, my friend. So some of the, and all this, what I'm really getting at is a lot of the tropes of poor character choice was rampant in this film. Yeah, the whole and then the actress who she was in Shutter Island as one of the nurses who plays the mom in the cabin who ends up being possessed. Yeah, she's one of the nurses who is fond of Mark Ruffalo's character. But anyway, she kept a photo album of Riley's multiple pregnancies. Like, who's taking photos of this shit and then developing them and like keepsaking? Why are we doing this? This is really odd. On top of the, ex Cassie also pointed out the continuity of her bangs and she obviously she was fed. She wasn't like too malnourished. Like, she was.
She had unlimited crackers.
Yeah, clearly. But like, so it was like little like weird, like there's little poor choices. Like they are kind of minute in the grand scheme, but the problem is there's so many of them that they really add up, and you're like. So I was like kind of puzzling and scratching my head through many moments. Like, why are you doing this? Oh, the flashlight went out. The flashlight went out. The flashlight went out. Okay. Thank God you have a spare flashlight. Oh my God, what a great revelation that is. You have a spare like what? Because and what bugged me about the first flashlight going out in the prison was like, oh, we're gonna set up a jump scare. That's all it is. And that's what it was. I'm like, come on.
I do have something just because this brought up in my head, and I'll let you talk, is that this is modern times. Like, it's like 2020, I think, is when this is set.
Correct.
And like, you have your fucking phone. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
What the fuck?
So you're muted, Cassie.
You're muted.
Sorry. I felt like it was almost like she knew she was in a horror film, and so she was purposely making all the wrong choices. Like, that's how, like, deliberate it all felt.
And that's where I think the writing, I think overall my biggest con with Shelby Oaks is the writing, because instead of like developing the characters more, fleshing them out to make more intelligent decisions, like we have to like funnel them down to make the poorest decision available to get them through the plot. And a smarter film, a better written film would have found the better way to do all those things. The twist of like the prisoner guy being the son of the chick in the woods, that was pretty cool. Like I bought that. Like, that's fine. And then the demon, and then the end with the ending is very polarizing. And I didn't hate the ending, but like I get why people did not like it. Like, that's fine. Like it was kind of cheesy. I like the end, like, oh, now she's going to carry on the curse of being the possessed caretaker of the possessed demon baby. Like on paper, that sounds fine. That's a pretty fine ending for me. But like how we got there was like okay, like, because the cracked window, like I think what he was trying to do was do a M. Night Shyamalan and like always have the window cracking, being like this thread of breadcrumbs to where someone would have to jump out the window at the end, which was what happened. I think he was really going for like that Shyamalan moment, and I'm like, I just no. It just wasn't really
It's
there.
also something that like Mike Flanagan has done in like Haunting of Hill House with like the crooked neck lady that you think she's some apparition, but it turns out it's just the ghost of the girl from the future.
The young daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally got that same thing.
See that, but that's the thing. That's the separation, Dempsey, is that Haunting of Hill House story beat was very well written, very well thought out. To be fair, and a whole like 8 episodes to get to that point. This was a very truncated version of that, and it didn't really like hit with me, and so I felt like it was just a lot of conveniences due to like soft writing. So that's my biggest con. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but it was the con is just the writing. Like, if he pairs up with a better writer next time, or directs someone else's script, maybe. Like, he's got the eye, man. He can shoot a film. Like, fucking my hat's off to that. But the writing, brother, that is not his strength. So that's hopefully that was worth the wait, Dempsey. That's where I got.
I am thoroughly pleased, and I cannot agree with you more. Like I said, I really like the found footage part, but I feel like in hindsight, that as essential as it is for the story, it's kind of filler. Without that, there is no story here. Like, okay, somebody comes up to her door and shoots himself in the head, which, by the way, he said, she's finally let me free. Who's she? His mother? Riley? Come on. Like, that's never explained. If anything, it would have made more sense if he said he and he was talking about the demon. But, like, when he said that, a part of me, like, filed that in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, maybe the chick is possessed. You know, maybe she's done some witchcraft herself. But it's never explained. It's not fleshed out enough. Then you have basically this fake CSI short case where she's trying to figure out what's going on with her sister. She watches the video, and then she pursues it literally within like 20 minutes. She goes to some prison, and then she goes to the park, and miraculously she finds her sister. And that's the movie, guys. That's it. There's nothing more to it. It's like very cut and dry. And
I was like thinking about this later. To your point, Dempsey, I'm making a point here.
No, of course.
Was that in 12 years, right? They found the cabin where they disappeared from. They found the camera, and then Shelby Oaks was like, it's not a big place. You mean it took them 12 years and they could not find this cabin with some chicken unless they moved in there?
Nah, bro, the mold says otherwise, dude.
And exactly that. Unless they teleported in, like they've been there. Like, how did the police not stumble upon this place? Unless a demon was like casting something. And now I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm just like.
And she also made it sound like she knew the house was there, right? She's like, oh, I didn't think anyone lived over here.
Yes. And there are a lot of moments like that throughout the film where there are suggestions of interesting ideas. Like to Connor and Cassie, your point earlier about the husband. Up until the very end, I was like almost positive the husband was like dead, or like that he wasn't really there. And I also was expecting a little bit for him to play a bigger role in this, because my dumbass, going back to the 2-hour-long videos that I saw on this, he's kind of a big deal in the original lore of the videos, that he's kind of plays a big role in the separation that the two sisters have, that the older sister starts to see this guy and she begins to spend less time with her sister. So when I saw his character, I was like, okay, maybe he's kind of pulling all the strings in the background, or maybe he's been dead and his ghost. Like, once again, I'm just like suggestions of interesting ideas. But
he was a wet blanket.
Exactly, he was just a foil, a red herring. Honestly, a very bland red herring.
He wasn't even a red herring to me. Yeah, he was there.
He was, and it's like we built, like, in my, like, stupid me, I'm building this movie up to be a lot smarter than it is. I just want to point out the thing that pissed me off the most. I just want to make sure I get his name right. The Wilson Miles thing, and the WM on the tree. It was like so stupid to me. I was like, okay, it's not a witch sign. That's supposed to be the guy's name. I don't know if you guys picked that up.
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah, I was done thinking about it at that point. I think
it felt to me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Trolls 2. Where they go.
Oh my god!
Where the kid goes to a town, of ghost town, and it's called Nilbog, and it turns out it's goblins spelled backwards, and that's like the big twist of that's like the big twist of the movie. Oh my god, there's goblins here, and that's what I think they were also trying to do with like Wilson Miles, because you kept on seeing the thing, and the W and the M, and you're like, oh my god, it's supposed to be Wilson Miles. But anyway, that's where my head was going. But one last thing about the absence of a story here and the suggestion of things that really weren't there. The ending with the sister in the glass. Also, was I the only one that thought that maybe the demon had made a deal with the sister as a kid? Because it almost looked like she was going to smile at the end, right?
Yeah, like I was wondering, like, again, this also ties back to my Shyamalan wannabe theory. Because like he cut back to when they were young again. Like it was supposed to be some flashback that's going to be some incredible new information that Mia, the main character, the big sister, was like this whole time was really in cahoots or in doing some deal with this Tyrion. And I think that's what his goal was. It didn't land at all.
I agree.
Or like maybe he was after the big sister the whole time, you mean? And
that's one of the things. Like there's a suggestion there.
That's what I thought, because I brought that up on the ride home, is that because ultimately, I mean, the little sister's waking up having nightmares, freaking out every time his presence is around, but she sees him one time and she's super calm and like she's just like, hey. So
that's really, I mean, that's interesting, and I never would have thought about that if you guys hadn't brought it up just now. I wish they would have made something like that a little more obvious, because I'm like, oh, I mean, that makes me think.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to unpack. Bottom line, I think we can agree there's a lot of potential in this movie. Unfortunately, it doesn't build up to it. Not Chris's fault entirely. I will say, like, it's not to say there's an absence of talent here, but as we've all laid out, this movie needed just a little bit more oomph. And yeah, anybody else have anything else that they want to say before I ask the final question?
What's your final question, Dempsey?
It's interesting. You should ask, John. No,
is it the rating?
No. Do you think Chris escapes unscathed from this? At the time of recording this, we have not gotten the box office numbers yet. Like I said, though, I do think Chainsaw Man is probably going to take the weekend.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think?
Because I'm already talking, I'll just jump on that one. I think Chris is going to make some money. Like, not Chris himself personally, but like I think Shelby Oaks is going to make some money. You know, it's already very low budget, and there's a lot of hype and a lot of like mystique surrounding Shelby Oaks. It's been hyped for 3 years. Chris Stuckmann's a big name in the YouTube movie critical space. It's all over X. You know, I saw this person named Cassie. She was a shitting on this movie. You know,
Kathy.
What?
Kathy.
Bitch.
Oh, sorry.
What? Doesn't she know how hard it is to make a movie? God.
No, but like, in all seriousness, like, you know, and because I'm also on I'm not on YouTube anymore, but like I follow a lot of YouTube critics, and they're all covering Shelby Oaks. So I think enough word of mouth and buzz about this film, good and bad, is going to propel enough butts and seats to kind of make it, at least make a profit, of even a minuscule profit. I think that's going to be enough like ignition for Chris to like have the green light to move forward to his sophomore effort, whatever that's going to shape up to be. So I do not think, and his YouTube channel is still going strong. He's still reviewing movies. He just reviewed,
which is odd because he made a whole thing about
2.
how he wasn't going to review movies anymore like a couple years ago.
to be fair, that's a separate conversation. But to your point, Connor, I'm not trying to be dismissive, but it's like he wanted to like focus less on being negative toward films as a negative criticism and not be in that toxic space, because he's finally been humbled enough knowing what that process is like. He wants to just be more celebratory of films than, you know, I think
that's not being a critic then, to be fair.
No, it's not. And I 100% agree with you, Cassie. Like that's like you're kind of hamstringing your critical lens if you do that. But he picks and chooses which films he wants to talk about. If a movie sucks, he will not put a video out about that film.
He said that,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So, and that's his choice. Like, it's his channel. He does what he wants. But so I guess my opinion to an answer to your question, Dempsey, is that he'll keep on ticking.
That's fair. What do you guys think? I know, like, Cassie had no idea very little idea of who he was. Do you
want to see this movie to be on the pod? And I was like, sure.
Would you watch another movie from him?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like I feel like there's something there, and I'm always down to support like smaller filmmakers. Heck yeah. Like I want to see people succeed. Yeah, and I hope he does something else for sure. Yes.
And Connor, my dear.
I do think that I guess I don't think that this is going to like harm his career in any way. I think that there's so much here that highlights how great of at least a director he is. I agree with what we've said before, that I think if he's handed a really good script, he can do like magic with it. I think let Mike Flanagan like write a script that he's busy doing 6 projects that he's not able to direct one. So but I mean I did look at its estimated cost of this film was about $3.5 million after the reshoots, and the film is right now expected to make about 2.5 opening weekend, which is lower than I expected, especially with how much buzz is around it, at least on socials. But I mean, it is generally what Neon gets. Neon is not one of the companies that gets like a huge. Same with A24. They don't get a huge return if your name's not Longlegs. So yeah, I think that he'll be fine, and I'm looking forward to whatever he does next as far as films and film criticism. So yeah.
It's the last horror movie to be released before Halloween. I think he'll be fine. That's my short answer to the question. But the most important thing is, I agree with what all of you said. He did the damn thing. I don't even think any of our opinions matter. I'm not trying to say we did this for no reason, guys, but he did the damn thing. He made his movie. He's a part of the system now, and he can continue to do it for as long as it allows him to do it. So, and I, for one, having seen him for as long as John has, for over a decade now, like, I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he did it. I don't care about the product per se. It's a movie. Like we also said, movies are really hard. He took his shot. It may have misfired for some, like us, but it might have, been a wonderful and very scary experience for others. Who knows? It could be the inspiration for the next, I don't know, Stephen King or whatever the hell. Not everybody can be Orson Welles, Sidney Lumet, James Cameron, strike gold on their very first film. So
James Cameron's first film was Piranha 2. Are you want to?
Piranha 2 is a classic, bro. We got to do the Cinefied rewatchables.
I stand corrected. Excuse me, Dempsey. You're so right.
No.
Let's do it. Let's do it for Halloween. I'm just saying.
We should do some old movies.
I was gonna say we should do a classic rewatch podcast. That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm down.
Is that what the fans want? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe. No, I'm kidding. Not kidding. Please like and subscribe. Our jobs depend on it. No. All right. So concluding this podcast, because we are going a little bit over time, and we do have other movies that we want to watch and review. Like Cassie has to work on her Knives Out review.
That's right.
All right. So, do we have to go around? Has anybody's mind changed at all, if for the worst, at least?
No.
Not
for the worst.
Put it all out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were succinct and accurate and over emotional, but whatever. No, we did the damn thing as well. All right. So with that being said, unless anybody else has anything else that they want to say about the movie, anybody? John, go for it, man.
Just real quickly, I'll get off my soapbox. Like Dempsey said, I'm very proud of Chris for just doing the damn thing and making it happen. He talked the talk, walking the walk, man. And not that this makes the film good or bad, but the fact that this is a personal film for Chris, because one, a lot of it was coming off of his Jehovah's Witness background, where his sister was excommunicated. He couldn't find her. So the story of finding the lost sister is relevant. And how he and his own wife, Chris's wife, they had their own fertility issues, and that kind of also showed up in this film. Like, it's very brave and courageous of someone to put such deeply personal things into a film and put it out there, even if they're not ubiquitous things. I think it's very admirable, and I think that's not that changes my opinion of the film overall. It just reinforces my support of artists wanting to get their art out there. I think that part is the important thing.
I wholly agree, and I think that's such a great place to end this episode on. So yeah, with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for listening to the Cinefied Podcast. You can find more of our episodes as well as all of our written reviews on cinefied.com. Please make sure to read John's entire review for this particular film. It is very thoughtful, and it touches on a lot more of some of the things that we may not have been able to speak about at length here. Be sure to follow us on our official Letterboxd account, as well as all other major social media platforms to stay up to date with our reviews and other content and other plans. We got some big things coming, guys. 2025 is set to be a banger, okay, for the Cinefied team. Now, until next time, pop some popcorn, grab a few small beers for us, please, and remember to stay Cinefied. Happy Halloween, guys.